Hello, everybody, and welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John. I'm here to talk to you on this Thursday about a few things that are happening in and around the country and the world. The big news today is that we have a duel at the border in Texas with the current president and past president visiting in both one in a very safe zone and one in where all the action is going on. And the people that need to be talked to are being interviewed by Donald Trump, while the photo op that Mr. Biden has taken, he's taken it at a safe spot in Brownsville, Texas, where because of Governor Abbott's intervention there has slowed it down to a trickle. So it's a very safe place for Joe to be. And then Joe grandstands by, talking about everything, including banning guns to fix all this situation that's going on. In the meantime, he has never picked up a phone or called anyone for, this Laken Riley that was murdered by the hand of a immigrant that was processed in New York and released on several occasions, processed for shoplifting in Georgia, and was put out in the street to murder this girl. And yet President Biden hasn't picked up a phone or anything to do with that girl's family, with even for an apology or to say that he's heartfelt sorry. But he was on the phone in minutes to George Floyd's family. So what does that tell you? He doesn't care. He's down there grandstanding right now and using it as a photo op and, a campaign speech where Trump is down there actually learning something from the people that are involved on a daily basis with this situation of migrants pouring through the border at Eagle Pass. So what's the long and short of everything? Somebody doesn't care about the damage that they've done to this country. And the Biden administration is firing back at questions about Laken Riley's murder by pointing a finger at the Republicans like they had something to do with it. Well, all you have to do is look at the recorded records throughout this Trump administration as far as what was done at the border to slow things down and get it back to reality. And the minute that he was stepped foot in the Oval Office, all he did was cancel everything that Trump put in place to make sure that we didn't have these renegades running through the border, because they wanted millions of people to get through. And Biden is guilty on this, and he can say whatever he wants to the people down there in Texas and Arizona and Southern California that are being overrun with people that we know nothing about, with criminal records from the countries of origin and beyond. Not to mention the amount of cartel fentanyl and this new drug that they're pushing now across the border is coming in on a regular basis. But he can deny all he wants, and Karine Jean-Pierre can swear to his lies. But it's an awful situation that he would not have gotten in touch with that poor girl's family to say something of comfort rather than run around trying to ban guns and blaming the Republicans for what's going on at the border, which he opened wide. It was him that did that, not Donald Trump. So you can be told whatever you want to be told, but the Border Patrol sent Biden a crystal clear message before his visit to Texas that he probably wasn't anxious to hear. But he crawled off the airplane and grandstanded immediately, while the footage that I've seen on the other side over at Eagle Pass was Donald Trump listening intently to what both the Major General had to say from the state militia, as well as the ICE agents and the Border Patrol agents that were explaining to him by pictures the progression of the onslaught of this invasion that has taken place at our southern border. And quietly, they're invading from the northern border now, but you don't want to hear anything about that because mainstream media has blocked all that. So they don't want you knowing about that. I think it's a travesty, but we're stuck with that. Anyway, it's a mess. Hunter Biden pulled a 180 on his public testimony after the bombshell deposition that took place yesterday. I haven't seen the transcripts of it, but from what I understand from the exit polling that was done with the senators, that there was quite a bit of covering up and lying there on his part. What a surprise that a crack addict would lie to you about anything. Anyway, I guess he's backed off on the public display because of what took place in that closed door deposition yesterday. And I'm just very anxious to hear, all about why he shouldn't be, or his father shouldn't be, held accountable for the millions of dollars that they raked in from foreign entities that should not have been done. But we have two schools of law here, one for the Democrats and one for the Republicans, and nothing in between. So hopefully something will come of this. I don't know when, but it needs to come to a decision whether or not that these things actually happened. In the meantime, who gets the protection? This thug that killed this poor nursing student, all of the mainstream media says allegedly. Well, come on. We know what happened here, and so does the law enforcement, and mainstream media needs to get off their Democratic soapbox and tell us the truth for a change. Speaking of VP Harris praises a nonpartisan poll worker, and then it turns out that this guy is not who he said he was, and it's backfiring on her. She thinks that she is the great savior of the Biden administration at this point, and she's not doing anything to help the situation, believe me, because people have decided already that she's not a likable person, never mind an electable person to a job of presidency of the United States. She can't handle the job she's in now, and she's there because of a diversity hire, as most of his cabinet is. And we all know now diversity hires don't work. And it looks bad to the rest of the world that turns on their TV and watches these news conferences that take place with Kareem Jean-Pierre. It's a circus, and it's a carnival act that is filling this cabinet. We all know this now. They can cover up right and left all they want, but we need to remember who did what come November, because there's a whole lot that needs to be looked at. And I urge you all to listen to the candidates, each and every word they say, and not talking points, but solutions to the things that are straining our country right now, such as immigration, banking, the stock market, and we need term limits. So somebody has to grow a set and tell Congress that they need to put together a term limit program for both the Senate and the House. I'm sick and tired of watching people spend 40 and 50 years sitting in a seat in government making decisions that affect us without asking us first, is this a good decision? They work for us, and they forget they work for us because they get into the gravy train and can't get off. So we need term limits, and we need court reform. We need tort reform in our judicial system. And until that happens, we're going to continue to go down this road of a split system that's not working. As far as the Second Amendment rights, they can say all they want, but their numbers are off. It's not assault weapons that are used in most of these crimes that are being committed in these inner cities. It's a lot of handguns and gang members that are pulling this stuff off. And guess what? You can put all the laws you want together, and if a criminal wants a gun, just go to a country like the UK where guns are not allowed to, you're not allowed to have one, but all the criminals end up with them. So there's avenues for them to go and get it, and they know what these avenues are, and they will continue to do that. So why take this time when you have a border that's been invaded and an economy that is in bad shape, no matter what they want to come and tell you about Bidenomics and how well it's working? Just look around you. And I urge you all to stockpile what you need and get in some drugs that, antibiotics and things of that nature that you're going to need in the future, because all of our antibiotics and important drugs, life-saving drugs, are coming out of China and India. And if they turn on us because we keep poking a stick in the cages of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, they're going to shut that supply chain down. So you need to have on hand things you're going to need for you and your family in case something like that happens. So stockpile water, stockpile some foodstuffs that will last. Get the ready-to-eat meals that are available on the internet on a daily basis. Get it put up and make sure you have enough to last you a couple of months, because we're not in very good shape here. Now, the truckers have said that they are going to go on and boycott delivering to New York. I saw a brief news clip this morning of people raiding the shelves in all of the New York grocery stores for, of course, toilet paper, paper towels, and canned goods. Everything is going off the shelves, 1, 2, 3, because they're afraid of what's going to happen. Because this idiot governor in New York who threatened the truckers, and that's not something you do willy-nilly, to threaten, the truckers unions and things of that nature, that she's going to, repossess their trucks and put a garnish on their wages and their homes, and they're going to take everything away from them. That is illegal in its own right. But then we have Letitia James that is over there stomping around saying that they're going to do this to that person and this to that person, and she's hanging her hat on her big victory, and she's expecting that $355 million to come right out of Trump's pocket, and then now she's threatening to take all of his properties away. This woman is out of control. Another diversity hire by a mayor of New York and a governor of New York that doesn't have the brains to get out of bed in the morning, obviously, on some of the things that is coming out of their mouths is ridiculous. I was born and raised in New York, and I got to tell you, I never thought I'd live to see the day that the Empire State became what it is today, and what's allowed to happen there with no consequences, 0 consequences for somebody that beats up a New York City policeman. Never thought I'd live to see that. And then they release him to go to another state and kill somebody. So, well, there's not a heck of a lot more to talk about. But Trump said he spoke with Laken Riley's devastated parents and slams Biden for never saying her name and will not mention her name. He's out there right now giving speeches as we speak. Doesn't want to talk about that because it doesn't fit his narrative of silliness that he comes out with. And God knows what, heartwarming stories he's going to come out with, like, hiking 17,000 miles with Xi Jinping and, nonsense that maybe in his mind is real, but it's not real. So you have to take everything he says with a grain of salt. And I thought it was interesting that Governor Abbott spent the time at Eagle Pass and dissed the moron who opened the border in the first place. So they have a star witness in the other nonsense case against Trump. D.A. Willis is hearing, and whoever this witness is going to be revealed. It's hard to believe, but the crystal clear message by Border Patrol to Biden is that this is a terrible situation that we're in. We don't know what happened, but we do know what happened. Joe Biden happened on the first day that he took presence in the Oval Office and canceled all of the border safeguards that were put in place by the previous administration. And then now, when he's caught, says it's all the other guy's fault. It's not my fault. I inherited this. The border was a mess when I took over. Not true. But we know that he has a proclivity to lie straight face while the nation suffers. And he wants your vote again. And for those people that are out there contemplating a vote for Joe Biden, I don't know what to tell you other than the fact that you need to start researching right now and educate yourself of what can happen in the next 4 years based on what we've seen in the last 3 3/4 years. It's not a good situation. Not at all. And you cannot, in good faith, vote for this man again. And I'm not promoting the other side because we don't know what's going to happen or if either of these people will make it to the ticket come November. He went for his physical yesterday. What do we hear? His doctor says he's fit for service. Fit for what service? The service at the nursing home? On the pudding line? Because otherwise, this man cannot, without a teleprompter, hold an intelligent conversation with you, and he even manages to screw that up. So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of faith in Joe Biden. I never did. He's sat in the government and sucked on the government teat for 44 years or 50 years now and never, ever had an experience in real life to where he had any fiscal responsibility ever. But they managed, as the Biden family, to make millions. And it's funny how now we look into that and no one wants to do anything about it except for a handful of people in the congressional committees that are looking into the impeachment process. Anyway, let's see. I don't have any amusing stories for you today. I told you how to plant your potatoes yesterday, but I don't have anything to come up with today that's either amusing or not bothersome to me. Be careful. There's a lot of fraud going on. If you're on Social Security, I was told today by somebody at the Social Security office that more and more people have had their direct deposits rerouted using the online access to, if they get your information, which can happen by simply using TikTok. They can get all the information from the device you're using it on to get enough information to go to the Social Security and switch your deposits to their bank account. And it's happening. There's things going on. There's repossessions and foreclosures in California coming out left and right. And the economy is not at all what they tell you. And I know people will say to me, oh, John, you're being negative about things. It's not me being negative. It's take a look around, take a trip to the grocery store, and you'll understand quickly that Bidenomics has done nothing but increase the price of everything that we need to sustain our families. And now they want to push through, in California, just push through this agreement that all of the fast food workers are now going to be paid $20 an hour. What does that equate to us? It equates to you spending $10 for a hamburger rather than the old McDonald's 99 cents. So Bidenomics has done a wonderful job, hasn't it? California is in deep trouble. And if you look at Gavin Newsom, and this guy is backing Nikki Haley, just FYI, in case you were wondering, or looking at her as an alternative, that's not a good situation right there. But he's in charge and he's large, and he's got, according to what the newscasters will tell you, he's got great hair and he's so good looking. Sound familiar? That's what they said about the big dog, Clinton, and they also said it about Obama. So how did that treat us? Not very well. So if you're going to hire somebody about the look of their hair, that's okay. Go ahead and do it. But don't complain later, because it's going to come and get you. There's a lot going on with the real estate section in the United States today, with the insurance situation. Now the insurance is going to start crying because of the wildfires in Texas that have eaten up over 1 million acres of land. Some of it started by tumbleweed being flipped through by the wind and catching fire. So there's homes lost already, and God bless those people that have suffered through this, and we wish them all well, and hopefully their insurance is intact and they'll be reimbursed. However, the insurance on homeowners has gone through the roof. It's increased by, in some cases, mine increased by almost 15% this year, and in California and Florida, it's gone through the roof to a point where people cannot afford to carry homeowners insurance. So what does that do when you have a mortgage on your house? The banks are notified you no longer have insurance, and you're in trouble. So the economy is not what they would like to paint the picture of being to us, and be aware of that. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the phone calls that come into your house or on your cell phone that say that they are this bank or IRS or Social Security, because they'll get you to give them what they need to get into your accounts. And they're doing this more and more now. And the more people we let into this country with the knowledge of how to do this, and trust me, these Chinese that are coming in are well trained in various segments of either building an army, crashing our infrastructures, taking over the electric I wouldn't put it past any of these people to have the ability to take out your bank accounts or anything else. So be careful who you talk to and what information you give out. And if you have a telemarketer calling you and they try to get you to say the word YES, don't do it. Never answer with that answer, because they now with AI can use your voice and you saying yes to get away with the scams that they're calling you for in the first place. They have it down to a science, and we are all, especially older people, are neophytes in computers and things of that nature, and how we get duped into this is very simple. So be mindful and don't fall for the scam that where they call and say your daughter by the name of so-and-so has been arrested in Arizona and we need bail money for her to let her out, because this is happening to older people about their grandchildren, and they have no way of knowing if it's true or not true. And just warn your older parents that your grandchildren are in good hands with you, and they're not being arrested in Arizona. Without any further ado, we are working feverishly to get our realtor interview completed and out to you. It's Thursday. We'll have a Kaiser Report for you tomorrow, hopefully with some more information and maybe some positive information coming to you for get you ready for the weekend, because the weekends are something to look forward to, because you're home with your family. And those of us that traveled all our life for work and missed a lot of family things, I can tell you that I wish I had that opportunity back then. But we'll get it back. We're coming back. And we have a candidate and maybe two candidates that are out there that are viable and worth listening to. One, we know their track record, and the other, we know the family. And that's RFK Jr., and I think you owe it to yourself to listen at least to him. And Vivek Ramaswamy has been on the news lately talking about his ideas and his take on situations that are taking place in this country right now. And he's not running any longer, but it's worth a listen to, because you'll hear a different side than what you're going to hear out of this White House, which is basically one lie after another. Anyway, we're going to hold out for some good news coming at us before too long, I'm sure. We'll get through this election cycle and try to just get by the best we can. Don't forget, like, comment on this channel, and please subscribe if you haven't. And for those subscribers that I have, thank you very much for your support. And we're going to see you here real soon. And with that, it's time for me to dance on out of here, because we don't want to be hypnotized by the light any longer. Bye now.